Hey, I'm back! This week I mainly worked on the UI and fixed a lot of bugs. Let's start with the UI. First of all, for the in-game UI I added a fuel bar for the slow effect. So now, every time the player slows down the game, you can actually see how long you can still slow. Before I just had a number indicating it in the top left corner, and while it did work, it was hard to see how much fuel you still had left, and it's just overall much more satisfying this way. I'm not completely done with it yet. For example, I will add animations later, but for now I will stick with this. Other than that, I added a lot of buttons for the UI. For example, this pause button in the top right corner. Also, I worked on the pause menu in general and made a more clear game over screen. Here, as you can see, I tried a bit around with the button, but the problem was that the animation I had made for it made the hitbox much bigger than it actually was. Because the animation needed a much bigger sprite, so all this space that I used for slime drops, for example, was part of the button hitbox, which it shouldn't be. Now, while I could find a workaround for that, I think I will just replace the textures completely with something that works better, and is also a bit more visually pleasing than the current ones. Other than that, I mostly just did a lot of bug fixing, especially for the slow ability. For example, the game was using way more resources after being slowed once. I fixed that fairly easily, but that made new problems like the saws not being slowed anymore. So I also fixed that and some other bugs like being able to slow while on ground or being able to pause while dead. Anyway, I'm not gonna bore you any further with bug fixes. Basically, the game just works better now. And that's it. I'm sorry for not uploading an update video last week. I had some problems with uploading on other platforms and I first wanted to fix that for reasons of conformity. That said, I might just stay with only uploading an update video every second week, as I noticed that I could get much more into the nitty-gritty of my game and didn't have to worry about recording all the time. I could just completely focus on adding new stuff. Anyway, we'll see what I've decided next week. Until then, have a good weekend and see you next time.